Greetings and welcome to my revisited review for Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. So yes, long time coming. This is the beginning of my Psycho review series. I review all the Psycho movies I'm going to do revisited for this. I'm going to review Psycho 2, Psycho 3, Psycho 4, and then you're going to get a original versus remake. Because the remake is almost shot for shot, so it would be stupid of me to do a separate review and then do water. And then do what I should do. So, my revisited reviews are different. I don't say any spoilers until they happen in the movie. I talk about it throughout the review. So, this is on my Mount Rushmore of horror. There are 5 movies. I know that Mount Rushmore is generally 4, but there are 5 movies. When you want to go for, that's fine, because you have most optional. There are 4 movies on my Mount Rushmore of horror. You have Psycho, Jaws, The Shining, and Halloween. All of which happened before the 80s, but I think when it comes to Mount Rushmore of horror, other people might put like Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that in there. John Carpenter's The Thing. No, for me it's those 4, with an optional spot for The Exorcist. Because while I said I like Exorcist 3 more than the first one is a classic, and I would kind of put it above the third one. Maybe I'll just relate to the third one better, who knows. But here we are, 1960. A movie that was directed by Alfred Hitchcock, and Alfred Hitchcock was a stickler when it came to this film because he would not allow anyone to go in the movie theater after the film had started because he didn't want to ruin the twist. And actually, this is a film with 2 twists. There's the twist that happens about halfway through the film and then the one at the end. There are 2 twists in this film, and not many films can pull off a double twist. That's why M. Night Shyamalan has never tried to pull off a double twist. At least, I don't think he has. Not many films can do it. So, this film did it. And it starts off, it's almost like when the first twist happens, when that scene, and you know what scene I'm talking about happens, the shower scene happens, the film changes genres, sort of. Like, at the beginning of this, it seems like a thriller type of film about a woman running away with money that she stole, $40,000 she stole from her boss, and she's trying to get away, and then halfway through the film, the shower scene happens, and from that point on, it becomes a mystery film. And not for the audience, but for the rest of the characters in the film, is to trying to find, what happened to her. So, yeah. But yeah, if you don't know, Marion Crane, played by the late Janet Leigh, she stole $40,000 from her boss, and I do like this, like how they represent this. Like, guy comes in, has the money, and she sees it, and she's right on it. Like, that's the money she needs for her and Sam to live a life. They don't get that far as to her getting to Sam, though. I think it's for the best that she's not able to bring the money to Sam. Rewatching this, though, there were only two things, only two, that bug me, and it could be considered nitpicks. I mean, one is something that's always criticized. It's at the end of the film, but the other one could be a bit of a nitpick. But, and I'll tell you the first one here. The first one is that the money becomes inconsequential to the plot at a certain point in the film. I mean, you can tell there's some of the dialogue that they're trying to keep it relevant, but once it's taken off screen, once he throws it in the back of the car and buries the car in the swamp, the money is taken out of play. And even though you have Arbogast and Loomis, not that Loomis, the other Loomis, Sam Loomis, same character, but different Loomis, not Michael Myers Loomis, Psycho Loomis, telling him, hey, you got the money, she had a lot of money, and they mentioned it, and then even Sam's like, oh, you trying to take off? Huh? You take the money from her? Are you going to leave your mother in this place and take the money? He didn't even know. You got to realize that Norman Bates, he didn't know about the money at all. It was wrapped in a newspaper. He didn't know. He just grabbed a newspaper because he thought it was evidence that she was there, and he threw it in the back of her car. But yeah, the beginning of this film, where she's driving off. Okay, so the one thing that, the most notable thing that Hitchcock is known for is suspense. And this film does it. Like, you can tell when she makes a decision to take that money, she's driving and she's trying to make sure she can get out. But she's at the crosswalk and she's at the stoplight. And her boss walks by and she tenses up. She hope he doesn't see me. And he turns around and he notices her and she's like, and she just drives off. And it gets that tension. And then later with the cop, which this cop is harassing her. Alright, she should call the police for harassment because this cop had there was no reason for him to follow her all the way to the car dealership. Like, there's no, just because a woman decided to pull on the side of the road and go to sleep, that automatically means that she's up to something. She was, but I don't, there's not just cause here for him to follow her. And he does, and when he sees she stops at a car dealership, he just stands outside his car and watches. And eventually he pulls into the place, and it's like, this is taking it too far here. This is almost stalking her, right? But much like the money, he's gone. Why didn't he follow her after that? I know there's the rain or whatever, but we don't see this cop again. And it's like, what was the point? But it's a tiny thing. I mean, she gets to the base motel and it's raining, and then we have that scene where she's eating scene. This is an nitpick, but I thought they were having sandwiches and milk, and she has a piece of bread and something else on it. She's tearing the piece of bread. I'm like, that's not a sandwich. That's just bread and I'm assuming a meat or something. You could say it's an open-faced sandwich, but she eats it really weird. It's how they ate sandwiches in 1960, open-faced and with it. To me, that's not a sandwich, but okay. But I like the whole conversation that they have. And it's a really weird thing happened to me watching this scene, a conversation with Norman talking to Marion. As Norman was talking, something popped in my head, and I said, if they do another remake, and I don't think they ever will, and they probably never should, if they did another remake, who would make a good Norman Bates? Andrew Garfield. Because if you look at the way, look at Anthony Perkins here. There, see? Doesn't he kind of look like Andrew Garfield a little bit? I think it would work. And there's a reason why Anthony Perkins was cast in this role, because he was unassuming. They wanted a good-looking, nice type of person to play the role. So it would be unassuming, and you would assume that this nice-looking guy would be capable of doing such things. And it works. He comes off as this normal, unassuming guy until she mentions mother and putting mother in a home, and he's just like, well, boy's best friend is his mother. And I think it's, and I'll reference this in the remake, in the Here's the Wishes remake thing, but that's one thing that Anthony Perkins had that Vince Vaughn doesn't. Vince Vaughn, he may have a pretty face, but he doesn't look innocent. This looks like it just be a normal, unassuming person. Vince Vaughn, from moment one, he did it. You can tell the look on his face, it's just, he did it. Right? But yes, and then we get that shower scene. And Mother strikes. And it's an iconic shower scene, even with the chocolate syrup going around and around as fake blood. And I think I mentioned this in my original review, but I love the scene after this scene too, where Norman, yes, the sound, mother, blood, it does sound a little off, but when he runs in, he sees it and goes. The acting from Anthony Perkins is just like he can't believe that it's happened. This is thrown off by the fact that later we find out there was 2 other girls that have been young adult girls that have been killed there and are missing persons. I think it would have been better if this was the first time Mother had struck. It would make more sense with his reaction, because the way he reacted, it's like he had never seen something like this. Like, never seen a dead body, never seen something like that before. Then later we find out that there was 2 other cases, 2 other missing person cases, and it's like, why did he act like that? Is it just that bad for Mother to do that? And it's just like, I don't know. But yeah, from this moment on, Marion Crane's no longer our main character, and we follow her sister, played by Vera Miles, and her boyfriend, played by Sam Loomis. And, her boyfriend, Sam Loomis, played by, I don't fucking know, John Gavin, I think. Yes, it is hard. They do call him Sam more than Loomis, so I like that they call him Sam, because I'm just saying. But to call him Loomis, I think of, evil is in there. That Loomis. But yeah. And I will say that the second half of the film does kind of go on a little. But this is a slow build, right? It's slow building, it's tension building. It's what Hitchcock is known for. And it's good. It's a slow burn. Much like the other films, The Shining, that's a slow burn. You can say that Jaws is a little bit of a slow burn. Halloween is definitely a slow burn. The Exorcist, maybe not as much. But there is a lot of slow burning. And that does work very well for this, Even when Arbogast shows up and he's going around trying to figure out what happened, And, Norman is cleaning the place up. Around. I do want to comment, though, that, no, she does not drop a piece of paper on the floor. Later they find a piece, she writes a thing, but then she's done with it and she tears it up and she throws it in the toilet, which, by the way, this was the first movie to ever have a flushing toilet in it. Isn't that a nice fact? But, yeah. She doesn't drop any paper on the floor, but they find a piece of paper later. I feel like it's continuity error, because you can see her put her hand in the toilet to drop it in so none of it falls out. So I feel like you don't see the piece of paper fall, and you don't know it's there until later. Usually there'd be some kind of visual clue, it'd fall out, and the camera would cut to it falling to the side. But you don't see it fall, and it's a little bit iffy for me. But what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? So, Yeah. So, excuse me. I yawn. Yeah, Arbogast, he pokes his nose a little too much and tries to go in the house, and he is killed by Mother. But I want to comment that this doesn't make any sense. Because isn't Norman changing the sheets when he goes in? Isn't that the whole reason why he goes? Okay, so those of you who don't know, Norman and Mother are the same person. Mother is a second identity housed inside Norman's mind, right? So, isn't Norman is out there changing the sheets, right? So then how is he all of a sudden, it's like he teleports up to the top steps. That's the reason why Arbogast goes in the house, isn't it? Or does he go in the house first? I don't remember how it goes. I thought he was changing the sheets. Maybe I don't know. I thought he goes in the house because there's no one in there. I don't know, but you get the stabs him. You get the falling down the steps shot, which is actually pretty cool. And yeah, he's dead. And Norman deals with him, and then Sam and I forget what her name is. Vera Miles' character, the sister, they show up, pretend to be a husband and wife. And, like, okay, so I'll talk about the relationship that Marion and Sam have, because it's very weird. He lives in another town, and they're in love with each other, but he doesn't want them to move in together because he lives in the back of the hardware store. Is her apartment too small for two people? If it's a one bedroom, they can sleep in it together. I don't understand why they have to be separate. Maybe that's a screenwriting thing, like they have to be separate so she can drive to him later. I don't know. It's just very weird. Also, how is he back already? Didn't he take a plane? If he takes a plane, doesn't it take a couple days to get there? They seem to drive everywhere anyway, but he says he's got to make it to the airport. And yet, I don't know how long the flight is. But then she's just going to drive there. I don't know. It's very confusing. But, yeah, so they're snooping around. And we get him trying to... this is another thing. Okay, we get Sam talking to Norman. And then she starts snooping around. She goes upstairs. She doesn't find anything. She hears a noise. She sees Norman coming up the steps. Or coming up to the house there. She goes down. And he starts to go back down. He goes up. How fast is he able to get... Maybe I guess it does take a while. Because she goes down there and she sees... Because he put her down. I love these shots though. When they're upstairs with Norman. Because earlier when he kills Arbogast, you see from the top only. And then when he carries his mother, you see from the top and you can't see Mother that much. So when she goes down and you get that second twist, Mother is dead. Sort of. But another thing that's kind of hokey is she hits the light bulb. Like, I noticed that. She was like, ah! She hits the light bulb. I'm like, why did she hit the light bulb? Like, there is no reason for her to swing back and hit the light bulb. It's like, I understand you want to throw your arms up, as was the way back then. But she swings her arm. It's like, it's like it was a cue that Hitchcock gave her. You have to hit the light first, and then you scream. And it's just like, it's hokey. It's hokey. Norman comes in dressed like Mother. And yes, this was the reveal, but it is kind of hokey. Again, to see a man dressed like a woman. And they take him in. And later they call him a transvestite. That aged well. But yes, and then this is probably the only part they generally do not like about the film, and that's when you have the psychiatrist come in and just explain everything. It's like a 5-minute scene, and you're sitting there going, mm-hmm. It's like Hitchcock didn't expect, decided, yeah. It's like Hitchcock decided that the fan base or the viewers wouldn't be able to get it, wouldn't be able to understand what's going on, so they added that. And I do like the ending shot when it zooms in on Norman as you hear the monologue from Norma, the voiceover from Norma talking. I like that, but wouldn't it have been better? I think he comes up, hey, and then Sam comes in, tackles him to the ground. And the movie ends. Like, tackles him to the ground. You hear the sirens, so you know the cops came, and then the movie just ends. We don't need an explanation. You could, what? Leave the audience with questions, man. But no, you gotta have this guy spieling out whatever. But this is a classic film. I know I kind of complained my way through this, but not every film is absolutely, not everything in a film is going to be to your liking. But I would say that this is a 10. Definitely a 10. It's to the moon, all the way. Fantastic film from beginning to end. It's a slow burn, but if you put this on, you're expecting a slow burn, you go with it. It's fantastic. So yeah. So what are your thoughts on Psycho? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.